No offense, but your brain is a terrible place to keep your big idea. It belongs in the world, but you know that already. You have a calling, a voice that says, this is what I'm meant to do. Create the website your big idea deserves with Wix. Make it your own with top-to-bottom customization, AI to help realize your vision, and built-in business tools to turn your daydream into your dream job. Wix supports every stage of the business journey except one. Your decision to begin. Ready? Go to Wix.com.
What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 663. I am your host, Stevie V, alongside on this first Monday in May, Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm really good. How are you?
Really good. And of course, joining us on Cinco de Mayo as well is Cody Maurice Doggett. How the hell you doing, Cody?
Hello, darling. I'm not drunk yet, so I need to get on that right now.
Get those margaritas fired up because we are just loaded up with topics in the news right now. But I mentioned it is the first Monday in May. It is something that Jeremy loves to watch. It's the Met Gala opening night, and it is where there is a theme. This theme is the dandy. And I'm really excited about it. I want to hear just briefly what you're looking forward to in a second. But what I was super excited is one of the co-hosts, I think they call him the host, is Pharrell Williams, which is great. But the other one is Coleman Domingo. And
love him.
Love Coleman. I think I mentioned years ago that I used to know him and still know him, but from San Francisco days. And my mom's met him a few years back. We met him backstage in London, and he's just on fire right now. And I couldn't think of a better host than Coleman to be hosting this particular theme of the dandy. But what are your thoughts on the dandy and what we are probably going to see tonight?
I'm really excited to see lots of amazing suits and tailoring and shoulder pads, and I'm sure corsets and boning and pants and just all that excellence.
Yeah, I feel like we might see some hats too, and just attention to detail and pocket squares interpreted in a new way, and just all those zoot suit things that we just love. And I think it's gonna be exciting. But kudos to Coleman. I was telling Cody right before we started the show that Coleman is in a current show that everybody should check out called The Four Seasons on Netflix. It is so good. It's produced and written by Tina Fey. Tina Fey fame from, so many things, SNL to name one. But it is really good about these couples that all went to college together that are about in their 50s now, and they all have their spouses. And they go through the 4 seasons, and they take a trip every 2 episodes during the seasons. And it's about marriage and the trials and tribulations of what it takes to keep a marriage going. And everybody is at a different pace in their particular marriage. And it's really good. I just highly, highly recommend it. But Coleman is so good in it. And check out The Four Seasons, based on an original movie with Alan Alda back in the day. Ooh. So check that out. Okay. Well, there's so much to get into, including we got to just start off with Lady Gaga really broke the record of the most people and fans at a concert in Rio, Copacabana. People like the Rolling Stones have set world records in this infamous beach in Copacabana where they do these concerts. Next up was Madonna last year for her celebration tour, where she had close to 2 million, but she didn't quite make it there. But that was the largest concert in the history. But now Lady Gaga has really broken the record with her current Mayhem tour, and 2.5 million fans, record-breaking free concert at Rio's Copacabana Beach. And it had to be just killer and amazing because they really change these concerts up to fit the beach. So in other words, I know there's a really cool little documentary right now on the Celebration tour that you can watch on YouTube that Madonna just released, where they take the current tour, but they really reimagine it because now it's going down a mile down the beach, and to really, how do you reach those people? And I'm sure Lady Gaga did the exact same thing in just a brilliant way. So congratulations to her. But there was a bomb threat that was happening targeting our community, LGBTQ people. And fortunately, two things. A, Lady Gaga had no idea that this was going on, because I'm sure that would have totally affected her. But they were able to catch the two guys that were really drumming up this horrible thing and really recruiting more people. And they arrested them, thank goodness, all before the concert began. But I mean, did you hear or see anything about this, Jeremy, about her concert in Copacabana and this bomb threat?
Of course, I watched it last night, the whole thing. It was like 2.5 hours. It was amazing. And then I heard about all of the bombing stuff afterwards, and I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that she had no idea. But I guess it might be better that it didn't affect the performance, and it never weren't able to follow through. It's terrible that is the case, and I'm assuming that they were targeting it also based off of the size and the fact that it all took place like outdoors by the ocean.
Exactly. And Cody, when you hear that they were targeting our community, but then Lady Gaga not knowing, but that actually she dedicated this concert to the LGBTQ community without even knowing that we were targeted, it all makes it that much more poignant, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. And, I'm sure in her eyes, we are going through our struggles, and we kind of are being targeted. So I love that she dedicated this to us, and to the haters out there trying to bomb and threatening to bomb us. Like, get over it. We're going to be here. We're here. We're queer. Get over it. Okay.
Absolutely. And then over here in the States over the weekend, 20 police raided a gay bar for a quote unquote, a compliance check, when the patrons really had no idea. It was in Pittsburgh, P-Town Bar on Friday, in the middle of a drag performance event. Drag artist Indica, she was performing alongside trans model and nightlife legend Amanda Lepore. Hello. Ooh. When police began to gather in the back of the establishment, and they didn't tell anybody anything. And they were padded up police that about a dozen of them came in there and told many of them to leave the venue and go outside, but with no real. Later, they said something that they were over capacity, but this just seems a little bit crazy. Well, this didn't stop Indica or the crowd who were outside waiting to be told that they could go back in, because video actually captured the crowd waiting and started singing Chapel Roan's Pink Pony Club while Indica danced up and down the sidewalk collecting tips. And she said, guess what, divas? This is why queer people have got to stick the fuck together in 2025. Make some noise for the queer people in your life, everybody. I mean, this is just brilliant that they were able to salvage it, keep it going. But somebody, Jeremy, ultimately said, if it really was capacity, that just seems a little targeted. And for them to come in like a SWAT team and almost scare everybody, this doesn't really happen in straight bars, somebody pointed out. What are your thoughts on this?
I swear it sounds like just an excuse and very random and left field, and they just need to leave all of us alone.
Absolutely. I mean, Cody, what do you think about turning really turning lemons into lemonade, where, all right, we're out on the streets, but that's not going to stop this show. We're going to sing a cappella, and Indica's going to perform.
Yeah, I mean, that song is going to give us fuel and fire for a very long time. So I'm so glad Chapel Roan is out here making music for the whole queer community. But I think that that's what we have to continue to do. We have to make sure that we don't let them stop our joy. That's the most important thing, because joy is such a opposition to the hate that they want to put out here for us. So I'm glad that they are out there not letting these people steal our joy. And it just reminds me of what was going on back during the Stonewall times. Like, really? We're getting raided again? It's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get into some fashion news, because it is the first Monday in May and we're all excited about the Met Gala. But I don't know. Fashion designer Ricardo Tisci has been accused of sexually assaulting a man. And Ricardo is actually the creative officer over at Burberry from 2018 to 2022. But he's dressed, I mean, just name the celebrities from Adele to Beyonce to Rihanna to Madonna. And The Independent is reporting that a New York man is claiming that Tisci drugged his drink at an East Harlem restaurant, adding that he later woke up naked in Tisci's house and was unaware how he got there. And it alleges that the designer approached the plaintiff, Patrick Cooper, at a restaurant in late June of last year and discreetly put a drug into his drink. And upon consuming the drug-infused drink, Cooper reported he became disoriented, confused, impaired, intoxicated, unaware of his actions and surroundings, and unable to comprehend what was going on. I mean, these are all alleged, but are you aware of this designer, by the way, Jeremy, Ricardo Tisci?
Yeah, he worked for Givenchy as the creative director before Burberry.
Oh, there we go. I see. I knew you would know your stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the word is out, right, Cody, on where this goes, because these are allegations.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a history of other ones, but I don't know. I mean,
you never know, and you kind of have to believe the victims. I looked him up actually because I had heard his name before too, but of course I don't know exactly. I didn't know he was from Givenchy or anything like that. But you got to believe the victims, but like you also have to leave room for it to be something that could possibly not be true. So I guess we'll just see how it turns out because. Yeah, well, he's actually really handsome, too.
He's also the designer that they think that Kanye West was gay with when he was flying to Paris and spending a lot of time with him.
Ooh. Oh.
And Kim was pregnant at the time.
Okay.
But he designed her wedding dress for her wedding.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, there's that. See, we knew we'd get some tea from Jeremy. Yeah. The other thing that kind of rings a little possibly more truthful, I'm not sure why for me, but the fact that when we often hear about a lot of these allegations, sometimes it's like somebody's coming in like today, but about something that happened in 2011 or something that happened in the 90s. And I get it. It could be you just found the courage to finally come forward. This is somebody, Patrick Cooper, alleging that something just happened last year. And I think it's really recent. And I don't know why that, for me, just seems a little bit more like maybe the processes of how this would work. You would take this long to probably get a case against somebody, but whether that means anything, I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. Staying on fashion news, though, we've talked a lot about the former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO who was really been accused of sex trafficking and luring models throughout the years during his old run as CEO. And we've talked about the really excellent documentary that you can watch on Netflix that I know you watched it, Jeremy. And yeah, it's eye-opening. Check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But he has really been on trial, but they're ruling that he's unfit for trial and ordered to be hospitalized. And it's a federal judge here in New York that has ruled that this CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch is unfit to stand trial on sex trafficking charges because of his mental conditions, and that he basically has dementia, Alzheimer's, and Michael Jeffrey's lawyer sought the ruling last month, writing in a letter to the federal court that the 80-year-old requires around-the-clock care because he has Alzheimer's. Dementia and residual effects of a traumatic brain injury. And the defense, as well as prosecutors, requested that Jeffries be placed in a federal Bureau of Prisons custody so he can be hospitalized and receive treatment that might allow his criminal case to proceed. And I don't know, this is starting to become a pattern with some of these people. I mean, I guess if it's a real thing, but when you think about the Miramar, former CEO of Miramax, that's currently on trial that's in jail right now. Cody, who am I talking about?
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein, thank you. Mm-hmm. And, even Jeremy, Erica Jane's husband, I don't think they're divorced yet, and he's stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from people, but also is suffering from dementia, and they can't really. What are your thoughts on these guys? Is it a cop-out? I think they should still be held accountable.
I mean, I really don't know, because I don't know much about like the court of law and just what their stipulations are on bringing in someone to try them and with a jury and everything. So, I mean, I don't know if they put them on the stand, if it would be wasting a lot of people's time, because they may not have cognizant and like decisive,
because you have to understand the charges you're being charged for.
Exactly,
and you have to be, so I get that is what they say, and that is the rule,
and it makes you wonder, do they forget actual bits and pieces of what they really did versus like what their new truth is, or you know what I mean? It's like, it's definitely a double-edged sword, and there's so many moving parts to it. And also, when you get a good lawyer, they usually have you plan out like exactly how your story is going to pan out in the court, so that you have like a clear, concise description of like the series of events that led up to you being innocent or whatever, or pleading guilty, or
It's just frustrating, Cody, because, you think of all the victims, and here is finally their chance to tell their story as the victims. He's already been charged, and in many of these cases, people know that they've committed these acts. So that's not even, it's just a matter of how much time and so forth. But how do you think the victims feel that now this, when you put yourself in their shoes now that, and how do you argue against, well, he has dementia?
Yeah, allegedly they've ruined so many lives. So I can't understand how it would feel to know that or to have maybe that justice within your grasp, but not to even really be able to get it because of the illness that it could be, that is allegedly running through these people's bodies. Because like you said, it seems like a pattern that's going on with them, that they all of a sudden are not able to stand trial because of something that is going on with them mentally. And like it brings
it's called old white men.
And it brings up the question, like, if they were sentenced, would they even, if they do have this illness, would they even really even be able to know what's going on around them? So it's really frustrating. To Jeremy's point, the fact that if they do have this illness and they go to their lawyer and they're like, oh, let's get our story straight, we might get the truth because they would forget what the lawyer said. So
right, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, normally Alzheimer's, dementia, which in many cases there's just no cure, sadly, to this point. And I think of my mom's friend who was so smart, and it was her best friend, and she came down with dementia way early, and to just see her lose her friend that way, and it's one of those that you don't wish on anybody, right? But this one might be, if they're guilty of charge, we wish on them, because I don't know what's worse, like going to jail for the rest of your life or really just being lost. But they won't know what they did anyway. So, but they will have their time in a different court, I believe, at some point. So anyways, moving on to something a little bit more fun and interesting. It's season 2 of I Kissed a Boy with host Danny Minogue, Kylie's sister. And this season, did you guys watch season 1?
Yes, girl. Yes, God.
Yeah, so this summer it's going to be a lot of fun. I think I Kissed a Boy is going to be really great. We love Danny Minogue as the host. We love her fierceness and her fashion, more importantly. But this season's going to be cool because they're bringing on the first ever trans contestant, trans male. And I think that's actually really progressive and cool. It's set in Italy this time, and they're announcing this week many of the contestants, but they've talked to the trans contestant on, he feels very happy and excited to be the first trans. I've been talking to a lot of people recently about play spaces. This is not what we're talking about, but, I really feel, open and it should be all inclusive for spaces, for sexuality. And we should just, if we're going to include T in our acronym LGBTQI, that we really need to have welcoming spaces, and you need to move on and learn that this is growth for our community when it comes to play spaces and opening up. That's how I feel. But how do you feel about this? I'll start with you, Cody. If having a trans male as one of the contestants.
Yeah, I think it's great. I agree with you that, we should be more inclusive to trans men and open your mind kind of a little bit, because hot is hot. And I feel like as long as they're male presenting and I'm attracted to them, because come on, Laith Ashley, that's fucking gorgeous.
Exactly.
So I feel like as long as, I'm attracted to you, I can explore a lot of that stuff. We can leave by the wayside. And because I don't think I'm pansexual, but I do think that, as long as you have a good soul and I can fall in love with you, then I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just dating. It's called I Kissed a Boy. For those that haven't watched it yet, you start the show off. Everybody starts off by kissing somebody. Am I correct, Jeremy?
Yes, yeah.
Before you even meet them. And
I think you just walk up and they pair two people together, like any two random. I don't think there's a rhyme or reason. And then I think what happens is they talk about like how the first kiss was, what their instinct was like immediately, and then it all goes from there if they want to like have their first date with that person or choose someone else, and so on.
And I love this. So if you watch Drag Race, we all know that at a certain point in time they started including trans contestants, and many of them done excellent on the show, and that was a true shift and a true shift in culture. But Jeremy, when you hear that a dating reality show is including a trans male, knowing how many of us want inclusion, but how some may not be familiar with or know what it would be like to date a trans man, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's great, and I love that it's super progressive, and they should be included. They're part of the community, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be at the same table as everyone else.
I think it's excellent addition to add this, particularly when the T in our LGBTQIA on and on are the ones that are extremely targeted. It brings a face to them. We'll get to know them on the show more. And at the end of the day, this is a dating fun show. So it will open people's minds up on the show, hopefully, that to be open to dating all kinds of people. And you don't have to make your ultimate decision right away. I mean, it's a show. So I'm excited to see how this plays out, but I love that they included this on a dating show too, because like I said, I've been in conversations in various arenas that surprisingly so, not everybody in our community is always so welcome to the T's, and it frustrates me a lot. And we're all allowed to our opinions.
Got an amazing business idea, but haven't locked in a domain name? Search Wix Domains and claim yours before someone else snags it. Your ideal.com, .net, .u is out there. Search Wix Domains and set your brand in motion.
But sometimes I think we're just a little too quick to exclude, when we just need to look at our history when gay men were excluded. And why wouldn't we just remember that and then open the door to change and evolution, and somebody that's already involved in our acronym in our name. Staying on fashion, and I sent you the link. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at it. Sniffy's is back. Did you guys look at it?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Well, okay, we've been a little hard on not Sniffy's, because we had early on when Sniffy's was starting out on our Tags live show, which you can watch every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, hosted by Cody Maurice, Doggett, and myself. That's when we bring our special guests on, and we brought in one of the marketing directors of Sniffy's when it was just starting out, and he really broke it down, and we've been huge fans. I've used Sniffy's very successfully and enjoyed it. I know you have, Cody, as well.
Right before this podcast.
Okay, yeah. Where we have been a little more critical is their launch into the fashion arena. And fashion is a generous word, perhaps, but they are coming out with their latest, and it's the Queer Cruising debut of their spring collection of merchandise for Sweaty Encounters. And they said here, I'll read what they're going for. We'll discuss what we thought of it. I'll post this on tagspodcast.com so you decide ultimately, but you're going to hear our take on it. Our latest merch drop is all about the vintage gym uniform sexiness. Think ringer tees that cling to your body with every move and flex. Gray cruise shorts with just the right amount of bagginess to let everything swing freely. Whether you're getting sweaty at the gym, the club, or somewhere a little more private, we've got you covered or uncovered. Well, I don't know. I wasn't that impressed with this at all, like many of ours, but I want to hear from Jeremy, the fashion expert. What did you think about it?
I definitely like it better than the last drop. I will say that.
Okay.
It is definitely still basic, and the fabrication doesn't look great, but I love that it is a little bit more clothing. It looks like what everyone sells at an athletic brand. It doesn't really separate itself at all. I would say my favorite part is the baseball cap that's camo.
Yes.
I think that's the most interesting piece out of all of these. So still not loving it, but it's not as terrible as the first one.
Okay, that's pretty good. Not bad.
That was very nice because
he was not as nice the first time around, so he must really think that. I agree with you on that, Cap. I like
the color schemes better. I feel like, I don't know, it's just a lot more simplified and less trying hard, and I think that's what I like about it. But still, I wouldn't run to buy it at the same time.
Me either. I mean, Cody, you know what it reminds me of a little bit? Did you have PE back in the day in school?
Yes,
that's exactly what this looks like.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Remember PE? And I went to Catholic school my whole life, and often they would give us things that look almost, maybe not those Razorbacks or anything, or the tanks, but the first outfit, which is like this T-shirt and shorts, it looks like that's what I wore in PE. I didn't like it then, and I'm surely not going to like it or wear it now. I hated PE so much. I was an athlete, but I wanted nothing to do with PE because you had to play these sports that you didn't want to play. I didn't want to play baseball, Cody.
I like baseball, but I didn't run in PE. Like Jeremy, I'm not running to get any of this. I don't think that I'm going to leisurely walk to get to any of this either. But this is basic. And like Jeremy said, and it's just, you know what? Advertising for me is 90% of whether or not I'm going to buy something. And this advertising campaign is not it, honey. It is flat.
We needed you in this.
Oh, thank you, darling, because I am available if Sniffies wants to call me. But this campaign is not it. And I really just need for them to step it up just a little bit with the fashions and with the advertising. I know some people they can call if they need a good photographer. And yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say something meaner, but then Jeremy was so nice. And I was like, okay, I can't go in.
Well, listen, you can save it for our next story, which I put the link in our recording platform, because Walmart, I think we lost all of our Pride collection with Target. But Walmart seems to have stepped up to the plate, but I don't know if we really want them to. What am I talking about? Well, there is a gay woman that has really gone a little bit viral. She jokingly has slammed Walmart over its too supportive LGBTQ plus merch in a video that has gone, like I said, viral. And why are we saying this? Because there's T-shirts that say things like "Homo estás?" for our Latino gays. There is a shirt that says "cute" with the checked, gay check, ready check to slay, which seems a little like 2014. There's a bi babe, meaning bisexual. And probably one of the worst is a lavender t-shirt that says lesbian, but it's LES. And for the B, they put an actual bee, a bumblebee.
With a rainbow on it.
With a rainbow on it. And I love this. I wish I had her name in front of me. I can't find it real quick. But she has called them out. Of course, she's like, basically, no, thank you. This is actually wanting me to make me straight. And real quick comments, Jeremy, on the Walmart collection.
I mean, I think it's like very corny, but at the same time, it's fun, I guess. But I wouldn't run to buy any of these either. So, yeah.
I feel like, Cody, if I wrote a T-shirt that said "Homo Estás," the Latino community would be coming at me like, "What in the hell? Give me back your like."
So I saw cringe as the description, so I kind of feel like that's perfect. Like it's it's cringy. All of these, especially the lavender T-shirt. I'm like, I don't think most lesbians would wear that ever.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't wear lavender and that bumblebee. No, thank you.
Exactly.
And it's just, I mean, Cody, are you going to Walmart to get this?
Well, I don't go to Walmart under normal circumstances, but you know what? I don't think this is that bad. I really think it's kind of cute and kitschy. And if someone was to shop at Walmart, I think this is something that they would like. So Brace Face Pineapple is the user who created this. So I think they need to give it a chance because maybe it's not for me, maybe it's not for any of us, but for some Walmart shopping gay out there, they're gonna like this. So, and thank you to Walmart for including LGBTQ plus things out there.
I do have to admit, when we're in Puerto Vallarta, we make Walmart runs because that's what's there.
We need one then.
Yeah, let's see if Puerto Vallarta has there. And you know what? I might get this because and wear it at this next story because the internet is mocking this cringe straight pride. Remember we talked about this last year where an Idaho bar owner decided to organize a counter event to all the local pride celebrations, and he's back and claiming June as Hetero Awesome Fest. He's a straight Mark Fitzpatrick, owner of the Old State Saloon near Boise, is planning to host the Hetero Awesome Fest outside the state capitol in the month of June. And he's really taking this a step further than last year because he says that, he really has conservative values and wants to bring that to the table and really thinks that he thinks our whole month is way too much and just doesn't support anything he's about. He's trying to actually get some sponsors like many of us do, although we're losing them a little bit here and there. And to this point, they told him that, you have to be a nonprofit. So he actually got his nonprofit license to do it. So far, no word on if he's nabbed any sponsors. But I mean, Cody, do you want to go to Boise with me and get a Walmart T-shirt and wear it at it?
No, man, absolutely not. I will not be attended. Awesome Hetero. I don't even know who the hell came up with that name. That is ridiculous. And
this Fitzgerald guy
is horrible, and he is ridiculous. He needs to get his brain checked because he might have some issues of inadequacy. Clearly, so. I'm not going to Boise. That's in Idaho, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I think he's going to do it. Yeah. I mean, Jeremy, when you hear this, I mean, it's such a waste of time. And how does this really affect you? What are your thoughts on this?
It does not affect me at all. And I think it's ridiculous and totally a waste of time.
Yeah. I was going to say my dear friend, you're not. You Fitzgerald guy, you're wasting your time, and this is ridiculous. I mean, moving over to San Francisco, there is some bars out there that are, because we all know now that many people are pulling out of LGBTQ pride events. Many have been pulling their sponsorships. Many brands like Target and others really where many of these pride parades and events get a lot of their sponsorships have been pulling their dollar brand sponsorships. And many bars in the San Francisco area, this is when I love to be part of the San Francisco community, we'll talk about San Francisco in the next story, and while I'm not proud of them, but in this case, some bars, there's a lesbian bar over in Berkeley that is choosing not to carry some of these brands, and sometimes they're owned by big conglomerates too. They're not going to have them in their bar because they feel, it's not right to have some of these bars, but they won't have popular drinks like Budweiser, Bud Light, which many people really, I'm not one of them, but love. And I don't know. I mean, they're trying to encourage other bars in the Castro, which is a huge mecca, to go down this route. And I think it's a fine line. I mean, I know everybody says to vote with your dollar, and that's how you can make a change. But what do you think about these bars? Because they're risking a lot sometimes, Jeremy, when they choose not to carry certain brands. I mean, you're from the Boston area. You know how popular, is it Bud Light that's just super popular there? I mean, imagine if the gay bars decided not to carry that.
Yeah, I think it's not a smart decision to start like just getting rid of altogether really popular brands or things that they've carried for so long and then boycotting them. But I mean, to each his own.
Yeah, I mean, Cody, I get it that we need to take a stand a lot of the times. And I know many people, I think we were talking offline recently about Target, and there's been, the Black community has really voiced their concern. There's been I think somebody in Chicago, a pastor that is really, for the last several months, said to boycott Target because of all the DEI, getting rid of all those initiatives. And many in the Black community have really stopped. And we could do the same thing within our own community too. I thought about this the other day, and I really needed batteries to record a show, an upcoming show with Dr. Goldstein, and Target was right there. And I went in, I did, but I didn't really realize all this until shortly after I read the story, but it's hard to vote sometimes with your dollar when, I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm glad you actually brought up Target because their CEO just had to take a pay cut. So this works, and it's something that we should continue to do because all those people care about is money. So when we show people with our dollar how we can affect them and their bottom line, then they will fall in line. Right. So I think that this is something that is good. I think that this is something that we should continue to do. And this is because that's all they understand. So we need to hit them where it hurts.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is. And I commend some of these bars that are just really not going to carry if you're not going to support Pride, and partly because it all came down in this administration and all the things with DEI, the removal of, and it just seems like it was a domino effect that everybody just started to pull their dollars and their sponsorships from Pride events almost unilaterally, and it was just really hateful towards our community, especially when we're like, they say, don't kick people when they're down. Now's the time that they really could have shown their support, and they're not. Yeah. And so I think these bars, choosing not to, while it may have an effect on their business, I think they're doing the right thing. So we wish them success during this time period.
Yeah, well, drink another watery beer. That'd be fun.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And I'm sure there's plenty of them out there.
There's plenty.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And why I'm not so excited of San Francisco right now is because Luigi the Musical. Yeah, Luigi Mangione, who is currently in court and facing, all these crimes for murdering somebody, San Francisco has actually made a musical out of it, and it's sold out, and it's about the alleged healthcare CEO murderer Luigi Mangione is getting a musical take on the alleged crime, but they will also take some license and talk about basically what led him up to this. So they're going to take a lot of creative license to this. They're also going to bring in characters because he's currently in jail with P. Diddy. So there will be a P. Diddy character played by a woman.
Girl.
Bad taste, too soon. I don't know. It's sold out, but there's only like 4 or 5 performances, and it's a theater in San Francisco that only houses 50 people. But what are your thoughts on this, Jeremy? Would you go see Luigi the Musical?
I would definitely not go see that, and I think it's definitely too soon and poor taste, and it's gloating on someone that still committed a murder at the end of the day.
Yeah, Cody, I heard a little bit of the rehearsals because it leaked, and they're about to open in like less than a month or so, and they need to get these vocals together because they were out of sync, and it was cringy watching this, but maybe they'll get it together. I don't know, but I'm a huge musical lover. It's not my Sunset Boulevard that I keep talking about, and I'm not seeing it, but are you going to see it?
You know what? I am not against seeing something like this because it has potential for sure. They definitely should have waited for at least the trial to be over because what are they even going to talk about? I feel like they could have more gravitas if they waited for the outcome to actually happen. But I'm not against seeing something like this, and I'm definitely not seeing nothing with no bad vocals because I am not going to see somebody sing horribly. So they need to definitely pull that together.
Yeah, it was really strange to watch this rehearsal where there was plenty of people singing, but it was just off key. There was no melody to it. I'm not like you, but I know a good song, and I was just like, ugh, it was cringy. And so it just seems painful and not right and too soon. And yeah, taking advantage of something. So I'm like, San Francisco, no, that's a no on that one. Okay, moving on. We love to give advice on this show, and today is no different than any other day. But here is something that there was a bunch of them that I was looking at, and I had a bunch. Okay, they wrote, guys, I had an awesome first date with this guy, but things went downhill yesterday. Please tell me how to handle this. This person is 29. They met this guy, 24, on a date on Monday, and the date went pretty well. He dropped me off at the subway, and once I came home, I told him I had a good time and would like to meet again. He asked me about my availability, and I told him we can do this weekend. After that, he did not initiate any chat. So I had been messaging him on Tuesday and Thursday, and he just gave me one-liner answers. I did not sense the same level of interest from his end, so I assumed he had lost interest. And on Saturday afternoon, he contacted me asking if we were meeting. I asked him what his availability would be for next week, and I felt that he's not interested, but I told him I would be down to meet him on Monday or Tuesday. He took offense and said, I had already told you I am ready to meet over the weekend. You assume stuff, and I don't think it was handled maturely. I don't like things handled like this, so I'm backing off from here. This person apologized, but it didn't really seem to go anywhere. And I don't know, Jeremy, what are your thoughts? And did he come on too strong, or was the guy kind of a douche in his response?
I mean, I think he was kind of a douche in his response, and I feel like, but the other thing is, if it was all over text message only, it could be taken into different contexts. So maybe if he does actually really like this guy, he should try again. If he doesn't think that the connection is that strong, then I would say move on. So I think it depends on the semantics of, like, did they hit it off so well that he thinks it could be something other than just like a fling or whatever. And also I think he could have taken the jabs via text a lot more dramatically than they were supposed to be or be meant for.
Because he ultimately did ask him to get together.
Right.
And this is where, Cody, I think this is the part where a lot of, if it's going to go to the next level, and by next level, I mean like the next date, where I talk to a lot of people, from my sister to friends that are really in those early stages. They met somebody, they went on that first date, or they're trying to go on that first date, but they've had conversations, even whether via messaging on the apps, but then nobody makes that first move. Somebody's waiting for that person to make the move, and that's when it gets a little lost. And then oftentimes I hear from various people that they just drop it altogether because somebody feels like somebody should have made that first move first and somebody didn't show more interest. And I feel like this is the area that we get caught up in the most. What are your thoughts on this and what this guy is asking for advice on?
I feel like this person should probably, I would let that go, honestly, because if wires got crossed and you respond to me in that way, like that, I feel like it was way too harsh, his response to him like inquiring. So I think that for me, I would be offended. I would think that they were even really interested in me because you do have to make an effort in order to maintain a connection. So if I'm putting in all the effort, what is going on there? Like you said, some people are waiting for the other person. I think we all need to kind of put that to the wayside. More and more people
I agree.
Need to really just speak their mind and speak their hearts. Stop getting all wrapped up in trying to look cool or trying to play it cool or not. Disinterest really turns me off. So if you're trying to date me, be interested. Hello, goodbye.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was having this conversation with a straight friend of mine, but I've also had it with my sister before. So I was having it with a straight guy, and then I've had it like with my sister from that female perspective. And sometimes my straight friend was saying that he feels like she should have said something about that. They said they were going to get together, and he felt she should have been the one because he'd already taken a lot more initiative in those early stages. And I said, this is where I think women want you to take that initiative the week of the said date. And he was so perplexed by that. He's like, well, I thought women want to be equal in all this. And I already did the first part of reaching out to her. And I said, yeah. But when it comes to this, at least in my understanding, women, you need to kind of show interest. And I just then think about when like I was pursuing dating, and I just feel like you have to kind of, like if I wanted to see somebody again, I would put it out there. But then if they didn't respond to me, then I'd be like, well, they're lost. And I would just chalk it up to, they were flaky or whatever. But I wouldn't let something get away. But I just think you're right. Both of you, we get too caught up in that minutia of who should be contacting who and whose pride is bigger and what's that going to make me seem like if I reach out. And meanwhile, you're missing out on this potential. Like if we could just figure that part out.
Right. I think that it helps to get over your own pride in order to like
pursue.
Have the potential to be able to get to know someone. Because I think that when you have a chip on your shoulder or you're like high and mighty and you feel like they should reach out to you, that whole dynamic can easily make you lose good opportunities.
Amen.
Yeah, it's just that weird area that many of us get caught up in that I hear so much of. And maybe we'll focus more on that. Like people like you just got to get over that hump. Like you got to just put yourself out there a little bit more. And because ultimately, if they want to see you, they want to see you. And if they don't, they don't. But
yeah.
And you'll find out soon enough if they're, douchey or not. But yeah, oh my gosh, hope that helps. We are always available to give more advice, but you can, so much fun, you guys, as always. My God, Definitely. We got through all of them. You can always follow my co-hosts. You can follow Jeremy on the gram at @JRossLopez. Will you be posting some of your faves from tonight's Met Gala?
I might. We'll see on how they go.
Ooh. Yeah, exactly. Right. But message me offline on some of your favorites. I will do the same.
Let's do the group chat.
Let's do the group chat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do the starter group chat for sure. Follow Cody on the gram at Mr. Maurice, or on Blue Sky at the same handle at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. Go to our website, tagspodcast.com, where I'll post some of these links. And we are live this Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for Tags Live. You can get that link over at tagspodcast.com. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex.
running a business is hard work. Building your website shouldn't be. With Wix, you can express your ideas, give direction, then leave the heavy lifting to AI. From site creation to branded content and images. Have fun with the details. Customize what you want the way you want. And manage your whole business from a centralized dashboard with expert AI tools. Build, scale, and enjoy the incredible results. You can do it all yourself on Wix.